is ABC Midday. I am Abna Amante. Coming up in the headlines. News coming in is that President John Dramani Mahama has announced a series of key appointments aimed with Haruna Idrisu designated to Education Ministry and governs Kwame Agbodza and many others nominated to key ministries. The National Democratic Congress (NDC) has filed a legal challenge seeking to overturn the declarations for 3 constituencies in the Ashanti region. We will engage the party to understand their actions. Also, the Operation Recover All Electoral Committee is facing backlash from Ghanaians concerning its legality. We'll bring you more on that shortly. And in business, energy security experts has called for a comprehensive review of the Gold for Oil program. On the international front, at least 78 bodies have been retrieved from an abandoned gold mine in Stilfontein, South Africa, following months of police siege aimed at cracking down on illegal mining activities. Stay with us. We have details of these and more coming up shortly. Streaming live on our YouTube. The channel is ABC News GH. We're grateful for your time this afternoon. News coming in is that the president has released another list of nominees going to various ministries and to some 3 regions. For the Western region, the nominee is Wilbert Petty Brentum. For the Central region, Eduamwa Ekopenyi Ochre. And for the Western region, Joseph Nelson. For ministers of state, these are the persons who have been nominated to these various ministries. To the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Kwame Governs Agbodza has been nominated. To the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku. To the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namomulate. Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Abla Jifa Gumashi. Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Emilia Arthur. Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opariado. Ministry of Education, Haruna Idrisu. Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim. And Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu Ejari. So these 13 names have been found in a document that is circulating, that the president has nominated them to for the appointments committee to vet. This list, we understand, has been sent to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Badbin, so that the appointments committee can vet. However, we have not seen a letter to that effect, but this is what is making the rounds. A list that has been intercepted from the presidency, a list of about 12 ministers, nominees, who, if the appointments committee vets and are good with them or find them suitable, will be heading to these ministries and these regions. 3 regions, 9 ministries. 3 regions, 9 ministries, a total list of 12. If this is anything to go by, it means that we'll be expecting some 3 more MPs to go to the rest of the 3 regions which do not find their names in here. And it will also take the number of ministers of state from 3 to 12. From 3 to 12 already, the president has reduced the number of ministries from 30 to 23. So it means that we'll be expecting 11 more ministers of state designates, so that the appointments committee can adequately take a look at them. But this is the list that is making the rounds as of now. Wilbert Petty Brentum Brentum to the Western North region, Adriamu Ekopenyi Ochre to the Central region, Joseph Nelson to the Western region, Kwame Govens Agbeja to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Arikopoku to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Agnes Namomolate to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Abla Jifa Gomashi to the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Emilia Arthur to the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, George Opariado to the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, Haruna Idrisu to the Ministry of Education, Ahmed Ibrahim to the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Elizabeth Ofoswejari to the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. We're looking forward to more news and updates from there. You'll recall that the first list that came out of three that contained the list of 3 ministers. The minority leader raised some concerns on the floor of parliament about the way the information came out in the public. Is this another that lends credence to what he said? We'll be looking forward to more updates on it, and rest assured we'll provide you that on ABC News GH. So you should be visiting our website from time to time intermittently to check for every update on this issue. But so far, 12 more ministers and minister designates have been released. And that's all. Let's move on to other news. Dr. Clement Apak, MP for Bilsa South, says the NDC is standing firm on its promise of free tuition for first-year students in public tertiary institutions, stressing that the policy is a top priority. His comments follow criticism from retired Brigadier General Joseph Nunu Mensah, who during a stakeholder engagement argued that parents should take more responsibility for funding tertiary education. Speaking to CTFM, Dr. Apak insisted that the NDC campaigned on this promise and will deliver it, clarifying that participation will be optional for families who choose to opt out. The NDC's free tuition policy is aimed at easing the financial burden on students and families with a broader goal of enhancing access to higher education as a tool for national development. Stakeholders continue to deliberate on the policy's implementation, with the NDC emphasizing its resolve to address any challenges that may arise. The Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFEST, Dr. Peter Anti, has raised critical concerns about the future of the free senior high school policy under the National Democratic Congress government. According to him, while the policy has expanded access to education, its implementation and sustainability remains with significant challenges. In a post about the policy, Dr. Anti highlighted that the financial strain on the state has led to issues such as food shortages in schools, delayed payments to the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior Secondary Schools CHAS, and mounting infrastructure deficits, overcrowded classrooms, inadequate dormitories, and insufficient teaching materials have all contributed to deteriorating quality within the education system. He also criticized the universal nature of the policy, which he believes undermines its ability to address socioeconomic disparities. Wealthier families who can afford to pay fees benefit equally as those from less privileged backgrounds. This inefficiency must be addressed to make the policy more impactful, Dr. Anti wrote. The double-track system introduced to address overcrowding has also come under fire. Critics argue that it disrupts academic calendars and places undue stress on teachers, further complicating the situation. Dr. Anti proposed several potential solutions, including public-private partnerships to enhance school infrastructure, a targeted approach to support economically disadvantaged students, and innovative funding mechanisms such as voluntary contributions from the Ghanaian diaspora or introducing digital taxes. He emphasized that transparent communication with the public and stakeholder engagement would be critical in addressing these issues. policy remains politically sensitive, making any attempt to reform it a challenging task for the NDC. However, experts agree that prioritizing efficiency, equity, and quality will be essential to sustaining the program and maintaining public trust. Away from this education issue about free SHS, let's look at some other stories. The West Mamprusi Municipal Police Command has launched an investigation into alleged military brutality in Wale in the northeast region. Last Tuesday, military personnel reportedly stormed homes, shops, and streets, assaulting residents indiscriminately. Several individuals, including youths, gathered under a pavilion called Parliament, sustained injuries with some hospitalized. Eyewitnesses recount soldiers arriving in armored vehicles, forcing people to the ground and beating them with wires and the butt of guns. A victim, Saka Yakubu, said, "I was in my shop when they stormed there and ordered me to lie on the floor and started beating me. I still don't know why." The incident is believed to be linked to a stationary truck that caught fire in Wale. Reports suggest the truck, which developed an electrical fault, was being repaired when it caught fire. However, soldiers allegedly assumed the situation was connected to the ongoing Boko conflict. Wale-based journalist Dokrugu Al-Hassan clarified the truck developed an electrical fault and mechanics were working on it when it caught fire. It has nothing to do with the Boko conflict, he said. Reacting to the incident, the Member of Parliament for Wale, Dr. Tia Abdul Kabiru Mahama, condemned the alleged brutality, calling for an immediate investigation. It is unacceptable for military personnel to take the law into their hands and subject innocent residents to such inhumane treatment. I demand a swift and thorough investigation to ensure justice for the victims and restore calm to the community, Dr. Mahama stated. Away from that, the Operation Recover All Loot oral team has received over 700 petitions from Ghanaians as part of its ongoing investigation into corruption. Chairman Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa confirmed public involvement, highlighting the committee's commitment to transparency and justice. Honorable Ablakwa assured the public that efforts to track down those responsible for financial misconduct are making significant progress. He further stated that the investigation is in its final stages and the committee plans to present its findings to President Mahama in the coming weeks. There's more in this report.
The Operation Recover All Loot Oral Committee, chaired by Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has received over 700 petitions from concerned Ghanaians since its inception. The committee continues to investigate corruption-related cases, with its funding expected to be presented to President Mahama soon. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, the chairman of the Oral Committee, disclosed the progress of their investigations, ensuring the general public of their commitment to holding corrupt individuals accountable. Member of the Oral Preparatory Team, Raymond Archer, explains the team's validation tour of some state bungalows and lands that have been taken over by private developers, politicians, and politically exposed persons.
Is to validate petitions and concerns about appropriation of state properties to private and politically exposed persons. So we didn't receive the petition and just sit down and write a report about it. We are here today, as you have witnessed, to go through side by side to see whether indeed what is contained in the petition actually exists or not.
Meanwhile, the Oral Committee has faced criticism from the minority in Parliament, urging the public to boycott invitation from the Oral team. At a press briefing on Wednesday, January 15, 2025, Member of Parliament for Swame, John Darko, expressed the minority's disapproval of the committee's work.
Our advice from the minority is to boycott any invitation from the Oral team. We are not going to be public because we believe that there are constitutionally established bodies that can investigate any so-called misdeeds of the government.
In response, Yao Damlevo, a member of the oral team, clarified the committee's approach, emphasizing that their role is to receive information rather than actively inviting individuals for interrogation.
We cannot leave the fight against corruption in the hands of the elders who are corrupt in the first place. A corrupt person will not fight himself or correct himself. So it is for us to demand accountability and call them out. So we should not relent at all and make sure that if things are not going well, we expose it. You see what happened in Kenya? The president was forced to rescind a lot of decisions. The same thing can happen in Ghana. The only prayer I have for Ghana is that we don't go violent, destroying things.
As the ARA committee edges closer to completing its investigations, public interest in the outcome remains high. The coming weeks will reveal whether the edges closer to completing its investigations. Public interest in the outcome remains high. The coming weeks will reveal whether their efforts will effectively address corruption concerns.
Well, let's go back to the story about the new list of ministers that has been released and speak with the communications team member of the NDC, Stephen Digbe. Good afternoon, Stephen. Thank you for your time. Well, we're looking forward to speaking with him on this list. And coming in again is that Mahama Ayariga will be named majority leader. Mahama Ayariga will be named majority leader to replace Keso Ato Forsing. All of these names quite interesting coming up because some of them were tipped for other ministries and other roles. And to see this list come out and find them in different ministries or roles than they had been tipped is creating some conversations on social media. But MP Mahama Ayariga, the information coming in is that he will be named as majority leader for the NDC. Let's go back and let's go and have conversations on this. Stephen Digbe is a communications team member of the NDC. Good afternoon, Stephen. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, my dear. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I hope you're also fine.
I'm okay.
Great. We've seen a list circulating for some 12 ministers that the president has requested the Speaker of Parliament to pass on to the Appointments Committee for vetting, consideration to become the substantive ministers of those ministries. Is that it?
Yeah, it is.
It is. Okay. Yeah. On this list is quite an interesting one because many were tipping Honorable Haruna Idrisu for another ministry than the Education Ministry.
Okay.
Yes, and Ghanaians are very surprised to see this, to see his name for this ministry. And many had also been expecting to see Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa's name for the Education Ministry. We had expected to see his name in the next set of lists. Quite a surprise to the people of Ghanaians. The people of Ghana, pardon me. Oh, we have lost the communications team member of the NDC, Stephen Digbe. We look forward to speaking with him. But indeed, quite a surprise. Many had tipped Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa to go to the Education Ministry. I mean, he had been Deputy Education Minister before, so many had expected that he would indeed now become the Minister for Education. And per this list, it is not so. But Stephen Digbe says that this is the list, really. This is the list that has gone to the Speaker of Parliament for consideration and for the Appointments Committee to vet. So, again, I'll take it again for those of us who are not aware of this list. Going to the Western North Region, Wilbert Petty Brentum, Central Region, Idriamwa Ekopenyi Nyotre, Western Region, Joseph Nelson, Ministry of Roads and Highways, Kwame Govens Abuja, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Eric Opoku, Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namumulate, Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Ablanjifa Gumashi, Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Amelia Arthur, Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, George Opariado, Ministry of Education, Haruna Idrisu. Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim. Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ufosue-Ejare. These names bring the total number of ministers that have been nominated to 25 out of the 60 the president said he would be working with. That means we should be expecting some more 35 names, and we look forward to that. And also, were some of the people that Ghanaians had tipped for certain ministries, if indeed the rest of the rest of the list that will come out, if it will contain their names. If it does contain their names, we're looking forward to the ministries they will be heading to. Away from that, National Chairman of the Trades Union Congress, Bernard Owusu, has stated clearly that the union is monitoring the situation to ensure that jobs are secured following the restructuring of ministries in the country. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Mr. Owusu said TUC is looking forward to stakeholders' engagement with the government, adding that TUC wants pensions to be reviewed. He further noted that the pension scheme should be enhanced because it is woefully inadequate. Mr. Owusu mentioned that the Tema Oil Refinery and ECG must not be privatized.
The reduction of ministers will not have some negative effect, because trend or history tells us that in Ghana, for the past years, governments come, some reduce the ministry, some increase the ministries. We are monitoring keenly, and we will ensure that these things, as I said, anytime something happens, they don't lose their work. They are added on to the other agencies. And we will ensure that jobs are protected and nobody will lose his job. When they assume office, we will monitor and ensure we engage them how these things will be done. And this is not the first time these things are happening. In the previous government, some come, they increase it, some come, they reduce it. And once that is done, everybody's job is safe. So we are monitoring, and if there is anything untoward, we will surely ensure that the right thing is done. We are keenly waiting and monitoring. Once it's going to affect workers, we will go on the table and have a discussion. We are asking that the pension of the Ghanaian workers should be reviewed, and we are also looking at it that state companies like the Moa Refinery, the ECG, and the likes are supposed to remain as what they call state organizations. We don't believe that government should privatize it and give it out to what it will remain as what.
On the series of appointments the president is making, President John Dramani Mahama has announced a series of key security appointments aimed at strengthening national security and ensuring the safety of citizens. Leading the appointments is Prosper Douglas Bani, who has been named National Security Advisor to the President. Mr. Bani, a former Chief of Staff and Minister for the Interior, brings extensive experience and expertise in governance and security to the role. DCOP Abdul Osman Razak has been appointed National Security Coordinator, tasked with ensuring a cohesive and strategic approach to the country's security initiatives. The President, in a statement signed by Felix Fusu-Kwache, acting spokesperson to the President, also named COP Nathan Kofi-Boakye, retired as Director of Operations at the Presidency. Additionally, Charles Kipo has been appointed Director General of the National Intelligence Bureau, NIB, a critical role that focuses on intelligence gathering and analysis to preempt security matters. Let's have some conversation on this. Let's have conversations on these appointments by the President. Joining us is Dr. Franklin Kwesi Bani, a security analyst and consultant. Dr. Bani, we are grateful for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. But a quick one. I'm not Pa Kwesi. I'm Kwesi Bani. That is all, Dr. Kwesi Bani. Okay. That's enough, okay?
Right.
I'm not Pa. There's no others are with Pa. I'm not Pa.
Right. Thank you, sir. Dr. Bani, the President has made these appointments to head security in the nation. As a consultant yourself, what do you make of these appointments?
The President has made appointments at the security sector. So What is the beef here? What do you want to know so that we can take it from there?
Well, what do you make of it? How do you welcome it? Are we in safe hands?
Well, before I come to that, we need to know that in every economy, in every development state, security is paramount. And when we talk of security, it looks like many don't seem to understand the subject matter security. People think security is just a matter of putting or placing someone there to be keeping watch over a property, an asset, and that's all. It goes beyond that. I always say that security, or when it's just security, it's liken it with that of mathematics. That is why in our schools we make mathematics very compulsory, because if you sit down, every area of human life, there is indeed the importance of security. We have food security, human security, physical security, we have spiritual security, political security, economic security. Every area, environmental security, every area have security components, but we seem to be so much aligned with. So when we talk of Ghana's national security strategy, involves strengthening existing bilateral and multilateral economic relations with regional and international partners. That is from that level, okay? And also to deepen the bilateral relations, considering maybe to enhance diplomatic engagement, foster regular dialogue and cooperation between governments and including high-level visit meetings, and also consider economic cooperation to promote trade, investment. All these things got involved with security and economic work and development through the joint initiatives and agreements. Security cooperation, of course, which is technical, collaboration on counterterrorism, maritime security, and other security-related issues. People-to-people ties, encourage cultural exchanges and educational programs and tourism to strengthen people-to-people relations. All these are embodied in security we're talking about. Let me narrow it down to that of Ghana as an economy. Yes, we need security. Security must be strengthened and must be a paramount of every government. We are in a technological world in this 21st century. If you don't really strengthen your security, when one aspect or one area is broken, it affects the others. It's like a chain. You know, when there's no food security, there's a problem. When there's no security of the people that you are managing or governing, look at what is happening. Ghana did not know much about kidnapping, but the kidnapping is with us. What are the security doing? Even though they are doing their best, are they catching up with the world strategy of what? Of overcoming kidnapping? And we have armed robbery. Armed robbery was not a thing of government or people of Ghana, but here. So what are the causes and what are the things that can be done to arrest? Although we cannot uproot it, but it can be what? Managed and be reduced to the various minimum. Some place you go, you can't see this kind of character, but you can't even know here. Now, all cause of security, the safety of the people is paramount. The properties of the people is paramount. And the food security is concerned. So whereby you can go about your business without any fear or favor or any intimidation day and night. That is why sometimes I find it difficult to comprehend when the current government is considering 24 economy. It means that the security component must be highly beefed up. When somebody will go to work 6 o'clock and close maybe by 2 o'clock to 10 p.m., 10 p.m. to what? To that of the next day. The person coming to take over from 10 p.m. to the next day. Now, how sure is he of security from home to the working place?
Yeah. So, Dr. Bani, that's what we are asking, that this composition the president has put together, do you see that they will be able to?
I think I've answered you right now that it's not comfortable. They have to work. If it work, as far as his policy is concerned, that was 24 hours, then of course, security must be beefed up and must be strengthened. There must not be compromise. I've taken care of that.
Right. When we look at addressing the issue of Boko conflict, how are these recent national security appointments going to going to address the Boko conflict and then for us to see that there is some finality to this matter. These are persons of high repute, and the president is also very much interested in the ending of the conflict. With his new appointment, do you really see that there can be some finality with their work?
Well, they are saying that they are sure and because of the experience that these people appointed have acquired, they are confident that they can deliver. But you see, the problem in Boko, it goes back as far back as pre-independence, in the 50s. It's not today's kind of issue. The root causes of the Mamprasi and the other group, what they call them, of Mamprasi and the other group, they are they are fighting and contending with who to be what and so forth. So what I believe is that they must, apart from the security, they must involve the chieftaincy, that is the Otumfuo and the other, prominent people at the traditional level. I think Otumfuo was able to bring the Dabon crisis in collaboration with what, or in partnership with that of the government. So the government must work not alone. Security needs collaboration, needs networking, planning, and then I'm suggesting that they must involve that of the national security, the House of Chiefs, that is Otumfuo, for example, is somebody who can, because he has done it and we have seen it and it's working. That one. The same way if they involve, but if the security alone, I bet you they will not be able to approach it, because this matter, some of the military men who came today were not yet born, even at that when this matter started. So we need to get to the root of the matter and address it with a team, not only security. Security will then cost Ghana. Because when the security moves to go and resolve conflict, their movement is money. Their logistics is money. Wear and tear, vehicles, fuel, all those kind of is money. From where? The taxpayer. So you see, which could have been used in the world, advancing a positive course of the country's development. So we need to, if not, we need to also to strengthen our security, not only because the fighting there, you go and resolve it and it will come again. It's not something, a repetitive kind of thing, which needs to be put to an end. And to that, then there must be a collaboration, a networking, or partnership with the traditional setup. Otumfuo and Co. can be brought on board, together with the security agencies, police, the BNI, the military, all of them as a team. And then they will join and then have a strategy. But if only they want to leave it in the hands of the security agencies, I don't think we're having a headway. And the more it continues, the more we continue to spend.
Okay.
And it's money.
But finally, before I let you go, with this appointment of these persons, what will their appointment have? What impact will they have on the cohesion and coordination of our security framework in the nation?
You see, now we have, from what I'm hearing, the ministry has been scrapped. And so we have the National Security Coordinator, National Security what? I don't know how they could, but in every country we have a structure. The structure depends upon the economy and the development of that state. The structure of security in America could be because America is practicing federal system of government. We in Ghana are practicing unitary system of government. So our structure will never be the same, but the content and delivery can be somehow the same because of what? The trend of terrorism that is hovering around this West African Saharan region. Now, we have a presidential security advisor, which are the presidency. Now we have the security coordinator, the national security. We have the BNI. In fact, at the district levels, this is how it goes. That's why he, as the president, is by the constitution, is commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. The armed forces here is plural, meaning all agencies that are indeed holding or using weapons are armed. So the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, at the district or constituent level, there's a representative there from the national security, who feeds the constituency, the district, in that order, and to the regional. Regional will collate all that is happening and then summarize it and send it to the National Security Coordinator. He will also look at it and summarize it and quickly pass it on to the Security Advisor at the Presidency. So every morning there's something called Presidential Security Briefings. So it is a duty and the task of the the Security Advisor to the President, having collected or received all this collated information of what is happening in the state of security, goes down there to the President every morning, briefing the state of security in the country. Before that security briefing, before he go and do his work. So you see, that structure must be there, and what is they are using. So that's everywhere. So every morning before the President sits on his table, he has got that to be on. So that means he is aware, and then he will seek advice from these security corpus or the security advisor what to do, and the security advisor also confers with the military, the police, whoever appropriate, and then they will advise him. That is why being a president is a commanding, but not necessarily that he's a military person also, but he is on top. He commands, he instructs, but he's seeking the advice of the trained, disciplined officers in that sector.
Right. Thank you, sir. We are most grateful for your time this afternoon.
It's my pleasure.
Dr. Kwesi Bani is a security consultant. We've been having conversations with him on the president's appointments of some security persons, some key security appointments the president has made. Let me go through them once more for you to abreast yourself with it. Former Chief of Staff Prosper Douglas Bani appointed as National Security Advisor to the President. DCOP Abdul Osman Razak will serve as the National Security Coordinator to ensure cohesive strategy across all security initiatives. COP Nathan Kofi Boache, retired, has been appointed Director of Operations at the Presidency to oversee operational effectiveness in security matters, and Charles Kipo has been named Director General for the National Intelligence Bureau. And these are the key security appointments the President has made. Away from that, the National Democratic Congress has filed a legal challenge against the results declared for the Obuasi East, Ahafo North, and Ahafo Southwest parliamentary elections. The NDC's application seeks to overturn the declarations made by the Electoral Commission concerning the Obuasi East, Ahafo North, and Ahafo Southwest constituencies. The party has committed to pursuing the case until what it considers justice is achieved. On December 21, 2024, the Electoral Commission officially declared the New Patriotic Party's Patrick Boache Yadom, Eric Nana Jeman Prempe, and Elvis Osei Mensah Dapa as the winners of the Obuasi East, Ahafo North, and Ahafo Southwest parliamentary elections following a recount and recollation process mandated by the High Court. Speaking to the media after the appearance at the Kumasi High Court, lead counsel for the NDC, Evans Amanka, expressed resentment over the EC's decision to recollate results in the three constituencies. He expressed optimism in the NDC's application to overturn what he described as a travesty of justice.
For Obuasi East, I was there when the results was collated, and our Honorable Samuel Abuaje, who is right here with me, was declared the winner of that constituency. Now, when MPP was going to court for mandamus to compare the Electoral Commission to recollate some of the results and collate other results, Obuasi East was not part of it. So they knew very well that Obuasi East, they did not have a case. So they didn't go to court on that. So we don't know what kind of order that the Electoral Commission has for them to recollate that result without recourse to us. Our candidate, nor the political party NDC in Ashanti region or national, was given any notice of any sort or any invitation for the collation of that result, recollation of that result. And in any case, there is a precedent that has been set by the same Electoral Commission and the same Jane Mensah, who is sitting there. In the 2020 elections, Chachima South, when MPP illegally declared the results for themselves, for we winning and killed people on top, people who were protesting. They were killed. When we wrote a petition through our then majority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, to Electoral Commission for them to recollect that result for Techiman South.
Meanwhile, the National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for Obuasi East has expressed dissatisfaction with the Electoral Commission's recollation and redeclaration of the parliamentary results in favor of the NPP's candidates. Speaking to the media after a filing of an application to challenge the results, Samuel Abuaji noted that the will of Obuasi had been overturned by the Electoral Commission. He promised to do everything within the law to overturn the travesty of justice.
Came back to the High Court. Obuasi East wasn't mentioned. I initially wanted to join the case, but when I saw the nature of the application, I saw that I have facts, and I know around in 2020 I lost, and I ate a humble pie. But 2024, I know I won the Obuasi East parliamentary elections. 2021 I was coming, the difference was 17,000. 2024, when we're going into the elections, the difference was 12,000. And the MPP knew they've lost the elections in advance. So going into that elections, I knew I was going to win. And I won the elections. But prior, during, and after the elections, it has all been intimidations. During the elections, it was my constituency. The military men invaded and attacked civilians and members of my party, to the extent that party executives and my personal security were being brutalized. During the collation center, we had some components of the Electoral Commission that did everything possible to change the will of the people of Obuasi East constituency. And the most painful thing is that institutions that are supposed to protect the democracy and the peace that we are enjoying in this country, it's so sudden that those institutions are so biased and they don't care about the peace and the democracy we are enjoying in this country.
Joining us to have further clarity is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko. Dr. Tanko, good afternoon. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, dear. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I hope you're also fine.
I'm terrific.
Well, Dr. Tanko, can you provide more details on the basis on which the NDC's legal team is challenging the results of the 3 constituencies in the Ashanti region?
Very well. You see, those constituencies concerned were illegally declared for the MPP. If you look at Ahafo Southwest and Ahafo North, those declarations were illegally carried out, because after the vandalism of the process of the pink sheets and all other items needed for this thing, the MPP went and brought scanned copies. Only God knows where they got the scanned copies from. And the Electoral Commission accepted same and used it to declare them winners. This is completely illegal. Completely. We're not going to accept anything coming out from that kind of process. In the same vein, if you look at Obuasi East, it was declared for the NDC by the returning officer. And the losing candidate of the MPP even signed the pink sheet accepting the defeat. Yet these people decided to overturn the results again in their own way, using crooked Electoral Commission staff for the MPP. That is why we are using the legal means to stop that process. Because we are not going to accept it. Those 3 constituencies, we are not going to rest until we reverse all the illegality perpetrated by the NPP with their collaborators from the EC.
Well, Dr. Tanko, but these MPs have already been sworn in, and critics have argued that NDC's repeated challenges could delay parliamentary proceedings. How would you respond to some of these comments?
How is it going to delay parliament? If an illegal person is in Parliament House, how does it inure to the benefit of the people? You have an illegal officer sitting in Parliament, and you think that it will inure to the benefit of the constituency. The constituency didn't vote them. They need to be taken out. Is it the first time an MP has been taken out from Parliament? What are they talking about? Which critics are that? Is it the first time MPs have been taken out from Parliament? A whole constituency, South, didn't have a representation in the 8th Parliament. Where were the critics? Where were they? When the Supreme Court injuncted our MP, as enough, where were the critics? These hypocritical critics must shut up. We are not going to allow illegal persons to stay in Parliament. We'll make sure that we'll get them out.
Okay. Datanko, in the event that your legal challenge does not succeed as you are hoping it will, what will be the next step the NDC will take to address the concerns of your candidates and supporters in your constituencies?
Before we have beautiful plans lined up. If this one does not succeed, we have another plan for them.
Okay. And you will not readily share with us your plans?
Indeed, of course, you know I won't share the plans with you. When we get there, we'll cross.
All right. Datanko, let me move you to the new list of nominees that has come out. It's received some welcome in the public domain, whereas others are very surprised. They had expected some names to be included in the next set of lists, the second batch. Others had also expected that some names would not be where we see them tied to. The NDC, President Mahama, is he in to surprise all of us with this way he is releasing his nominees?
Well, it's a welcome news from the presidency. I mean, if you look at the names released so far, they are people, high caliber personality who have achieved a lot in their sector. In fact, most of them used to be ministers before. Some are fresh, coming in. They've done well in Parliament, in the sectors they found themselves. I mean, Ghanaians are going to enjoy a lot from the fruit of the labor that we are going to enter into. Because if you look at the list as presented, these are people that you can trust, people that you can respect. They are the people that we can say that they are not coming to lord the power given to us over the ordinary Ghanaians. They are down to earth. Down to earth. If you look at the list, from the regional ministers to the sector ministers, these are down to earth people who are people that you can easily approach, and they understand the areas they are sending them to. If you take, for instance, Haruna Iddrisu has been a youth leader. He has been a NUCS president before. So he understands a lot about educational sector.
Many had thought that Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa would return to the education ministry, this time as the Minister of Education. So it comes as a surprise that Honorable Haruna Iddrisu is the one that is going there.
Well, that's why I'm saying that the president initially did indicate he might not bring you to your former ministry. He wants diversity. And so if Haruna used to be labor minister, from communication to trade and labor, and now today is moving to education, his background is he can do the job. Okay. Don't forget there are other ministries which are still there, yet to be appointed. You know, so far, out of the 23 ministries, he has appointed about 11 so far. So we still have about 12 more to go. So a lot of ministries are still there. And I can assure you, the president knows what he's doing. And everybody will have his hand on deck to make sure that the reset agenda goes on smoothly.
Well,
we are assuring our members, we are assuring our supporters, everybody will have something to do in this government to make sure that Ghanaians benefit from the reset agenda we have set in motion.
Dr.
And also,
yes, we also understand that Honorable Mahama Yariga is set to become the majority leader, and the NDC wants him to be the majority leader. Is that true?
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. Leadership are still discussing it. I mean, as we speak now, leadership are talking about it, still trying to put in. Don't forget, Kwame Agboja was the majority chief whip, right? Yeah. He's moved now. He's now a minister. And then as well as the majority leader himself is now a minister designate. He has been vetted We also have the first Deputy Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Ahmed, is now also nominated for local government. So the front bench is virtually been taken out. And so there are a lot of vacancies there to be filled. And then the committees, most of them were in the committees and all that. Some were rankings and others were just chairman of the committees. So all these things, leadership is looking at it. And at the appropriate time, they'll come out with a list.
Right, Dr. Tanko, we are grateful. Should we also expect your name to be on the next list that comes?
I'm a member and a servant of the NDC as well as government.
All right. Dr. Tanko, we are grateful.
I can assure you.
Okay, we are grateful for your time.
It is well. I'm grateful.
Dr. Rashid Tanko is the Deputy Director for IT and Elections at the NDC. Away from all of these local stories, let's take some business news. Executive Director of the Institute of Energy Security, Nana Moesi VII, has called for a comprehensive review of the Gold for Oil program, stating that it had not met the intended goal of stabilizing fuel prices. In an interview on ABC in the morning, Nana Moesi pointed out that over the past 10 months, fuel prices have continuously increased, contrary to the program's objectives. He further warned that there is a high likelihood of another rise in fuel prices during the upcoming second pricing window. The Gold for Oil program was designed to stabilize fuel prices, reduce dependence on foreign currencies, and promote economic self-sufficiency by easing the foreign exchange burden on domestic fuel vendors from importing petroleum products.
He spoke the last time during his vetting, that's the minister designate, and it was clear that the program may be reviewed. And when you say you want to review a program, it's not to say you want to cancel it. As in political domain, sometimes it means so. But then to look at how helpful it's been, the weakness that's been in the system, and if it's possible to enhance on it, or moot a different model to handle the situation, that is okay. And so we support a total review of the program to see if it's been able to deliver some results.
Let's take some sports stories. In sports, the excitement grows with the official announcement of the groups for the Total Energies CAF Championship CHAN 2024, a tournament that showcases local African talent and brings together teams from across the continent. The event, which will take place in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda in 2025, now has its groups defined after a spectacular draw in Nairobi, where moments of great enthusiasm were experienced. The groups are as follows. Group A will feature Kenya, Morocco, Angola, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Zambia. Tanzania will lead Group B alongside Madagascar, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, and Central African Republic. In Group C, Uganda will be joined by Niger, Guinea, and 2 teams still to be confirmed. Finally, in Group D, it will be headed by Senegal, the current champions, and will include Congo, Sudan, and Nigeria. This draw also confirmed that the 3 co-hosting countries, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, will occupy the top spots in their respective groups. Senegal, as the defending champion, will be the group leader of D. The participation of these teams will not only increase competitiveness, but also provide an important advantage by playing at home, with the aim of progressing deep into the tournament. That's all for some sports news. Up next, international news. At least 78 bodies have been retrieved from an abandoned gold mine in Stilfontein, South Africa, following months of a police siege aimed at cracking down on illegal mining activities. Authorities began their operation in August, targeting over 100 suspected illegal miners. Food and water supplies to the mines were cut off, and equipment used to assess the mine was dismantled. Survivors and bodies are now being brought to the surface through a metal cage in a process expected to take weeks. So far, 166 survivors have been arrested, but rights groups claim that hundreds more remain trapped underground, with many reportedly starving or gravely ill. Community members say some miners have been underground for up to 6 months. The South African government has faced criticism for its hardline approach, which included cutting off supplies. Activists secured a court ruling in December to allow food, water, and medicine to be sent down, but supplies have reportedly been insufficient. Illegal mining, driven by abandoned mines and economic desperation, is a major challenge in South Africa. Informal miners, known locally as zama-zamas, often go underground for extended periods, relying on surface support to survive. Stilfontein has become the epicenter of this issue, with over 1,500 arrests since August and 121 deportations. However, the dire situation faced by survivors elicits the dangers of illegal mining. That's all for international news. Up next, entertainment. Renowned Ghanaian journalist and CEO of Kofi TV and Radio, Kofi Adomah-Nwanweni, has reportedly been shot, sparking widespread concern. Media personality Efia Pokuah shared the news in a Facebook post expressing her distress and prayers for his recovery. She wrote, Yesu, Kofi, I'm praying for your full recovery and healing. I've been panicking since hearing the news that you were shot in the eye. May the Lord work overtime on you. Accompanied by a photo of Kofi Adomah-Nwanweni. Details of the incident remain unconfirmed. However, the post has drawn significant attention, with fans and social media users flooding the comment section with messages of support and prayers for the journalist's speedy recovery. Kofi Adomah-Nwanweni, known for his impactful journalism and media leadership, is widely admired in Ghana. The news has left many in shock, with prayers and well wishes continuing to pour in across various platforms. And that's all for the news this afternoon on ABC News GH. For more news, visit our website www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Abna Mante. Enjoy the rest of your day. On Business Fix, we highlight the Traders Advocacy Group Ghana. We visited the TAG office in Accra for a discussion with President Kwadwo Amoateng about challenges facing Ghana's trading community and the broader business environment. Amoateng emphasized the impact of COVID-19 on businesses and how traders have navigated through these tough times despite the challenges.
Anybody that tells you COVID has no impact, the person doesn't know what he or she is saying. One, the person is not exposed. Two, the person doesn't travel. The person doesn't do international business. The person doesn't know anything when it comes to business. Or maybe the person knows, but the person is doing mischief. See, prior to COVID, when I go to China, the hotel that I lodge in, I was paying $50 a night. After COVID, I went there March of this year. I was paying $95. You get it? During COVID or prior to COVID, freight was about $3,000. That is the high season, like the season we find ourselves getting into the Xmas festivities. $3,000.